There's something I wish more doctors talked about during routine checkups. After the age of 60, your legs aren't becoming weaker simply because you're getting older. In many cases, they're becoming weaker because of what's missing from your diet. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that adults over the age of 60 who were deficient in one specific group of nutrients lost leg muscle 46% faster than those who consumed enough of those nutrients every day. Think about that for a moment. Not over decades, not even over years, over just a few months. The process is quiet. It happens gradually, and much of it is influenced by what you put on your plate every single day. Most people believe weak legs are simply part of getting older. They assume muscle loss is unavoidable. They believe that once they reach their 60s, 70s, or beyond, there isn't much they can do to rebuild strength. But that's not what the science shows. In fact, one landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed adults between the ages of 72 and 98, with an average age of 87 years old. The researchers discovered that a targeted nutritional approach, combined with one simple daily habit, increased leg muscle strength by 37% in just 8 weeks. Think about how remarkable that is. These weren't young athletes. These were older adults with an average age of 87. Some were in their 90s, yet their bodies were still capable of rebuilding measurable leg strength through the right nutritional strategy. That tells us something incredibly important. Your muscles don't stop responding because of your age. They stop responding when they stop receiving what they need. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact foods that research has linked to stronger, healthier leg muscles after the age of 60. And I'm saving the most surprising one until the very end. Why? Because there's a good chance it's already sitting somewhere in your kitchen. You may even eat it regularly without realizing it's one of the most powerful foods researchers have identified for supporting leg muscle health as we age. So make sure you stay with me until the end. You won't want to miss that final recommendation. I'm Dr. William Lee. My research focuses on the connection between nutrition, muscle physiology, and healthy aging. And in this video, I'll show you the evidence-based combination of foods that research suggests can help rebuild leg strength after 60 and continue supporting healthy muscles well into your 80s and even your 90s. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below with your name, your age, and the city you're watching from. I read as many of your comments as I can, and they help me understand exactly what topics matter most to this community. Why your legs get weaker after 60 every year. Before I show you the foods, I want you to understand what's actually happening inside your leg muscles after the age of 60. Because once you understand the biology, you'll see why these foods aren't just helpful, they're essential. After 60, your leg muscles begin facing 3 major biological challenges. Each one makes it harder to maintain strength, and together, they become more significant with every passing year if they aren't addressed through proper nutrition. Let's look at them one by one. Crisis number 1, anabolic resistance. When you're younger, eating protein sends a powerful signal to your muscles. That signal activates a process called muscle protein synthesis, the natural system your body uses to repair damaged muscle fibers and build new muscle tissue. But after the age of 60, that signal becomes much weaker. Researchers publishing in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over the age of 65 require about 41% more dietary protein to produce the same muscle-building response as adults in their 30s. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means your muscles simply don't respond to protein the way they used to. And that's where many older adults unknowingly run into trouble. They continue eating exactly as they always have, believing they're getting enough protein. Yet, year after year, their legs become weaker. Not because they're lazy, not because they aren't trying, but because their muscles now require a stronger nutritional signal than they did decades ago. It's biology, not a lack of effort. Crisis number 2, satellite cell decline. Inside every healthy muscle are remarkable repair cells known as satellite cells. Think of them as your muscle's maintenance crew. Whenever muscle fibers are stressed by exercise or simply by everyday movement, these cells help repair the damage and rebuild stronger tissue. But as we grow older, their activity begins to slow. Research from the University of Nottingham found that satellite cell activity in leg muscles declines by an average of 54% between the ages of 60 and 80. As a result, muscle fibers don't recover as efficiently. Tiny amounts of damage begin to accumulate. Over time, more muscle tissue is lost than replaced. The encouraging news is that research shows certain nutrients can help stimulate satellite cell activity in aging muscle. This isn't just a theory, it's something that's been investigated in peer-reviewed scientific studies. And in just a few moments, I'll show you the foods that provide those nutrients naturally. Crisis number 3, mitochondrial deterioration. The third challenge happens deep inside your muscle cells. Every muscle cell contains tiny structures called mitochondria. These are often referred to as the body's energy factories because they produce the energy needed for every muscle contraction. Unfortunately, they also decline with age. Research published in Cell Metabolism found that mitochondrial density in leg muscle fibers decreases by an average of 38% between the ages of 50 and 70 in sedentary adults. With fewer healthy mitochondria, your muscles tire more quickly, they produce less force, and they recover more slowly after activity. Now here's the exciting part. The foods we're about to discuss don't target just one of these problems. They've been studied because they help address all three. They help overcome anabolic resistance, they support healthier satellite cell activity, and they nourish the mitochondria that power your leg muscles every day. And the best part? These aren't expensive supplements. They aren't exotic superfoods. They're ordinary foods that many people can find at their local grocery store. Foods that research has associated with measurable improvements in leg strength, even in adults well into their 80s and 90s. Let's start with the first one. Food number 1, the muscle protein. Most seniors eat wrong. Let's begin with the first food, eggs. But there's an important detail. It's not just whether you eat eggs, it's how you prepare them. Eggs are one of the richest natural sources of leucine, an essential amino acid that scientists have identified as one of the most powerful triggers for building and maintaining muscle. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that leucine activates what's known as the mTOR pathway. Think of mTOR as your muscle's building switch. When it's activated, your body begins the process of repairing muscle fibers and creating new muscle protein. Among whole foods, eggs provide some of the most highly bioavailable leucine available. But here's the part that surprises most people. The way you cook your eggs can make a meaningful difference. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that soft-cooked or poached eggs provided approximately 91% leucine bioavailability, compared with about 51% from hard-boiled eggs. Why? Because prolonged exposure to high heat changes the structure of the proteins, making leucine less available for your body to absorb efficiently. In other words, many older adults believe they're getting all the muscle-building benefits of eggs, when in reality they may be absorbing far less leucine than they expect. Think about the typical breakfast. 2 hard-boiled eggs cooked for 10 or 12 minutes. It seems like a healthy choice, and it certainly provides valuable nutrition. But if your goal is to maximize the muscle-building signal your aging legs receive, the cooking method matters. Here's the approach supported by the research. Eat 2 to 3 eggs that are soft poached or lightly scrambled rather than hard boiled. And whenever possible, enjoy them within about 30 minutes of waking up. Research suggests this timing takes advantage of the body's morning anabolic window, when muscle protein synthesis may respond more efficiently to dietary protein. Let me share the story of a patient I'll call Thomas. Thomas was 74 years old, a retired firefighter from Houston, Texas. He came to see me because climbing stairs had become increasingly difficult. Just 5 years earlier, stairs had never been a problem. Every morning, Thomas faithfully ate 2 hard-boiled eggs. He couldn't understand why his legs continued getting weaker when he believed he was eating enough protein. When we reviewed his diet, the amount of protein wasn't the issue. The quality of the food wasn't the issue either. The biggest opportunity for improvement was simply how the eggs were prepared. I suggested one small change. Keep eating the same number of eggs, but switch from hard-boiled to soft-poached. Nothing else changed. Same breakfast, same amount of protein, just a different preparation method. About 10 weeks later, Thomas returned for his follow-up appointment. He told me climbing stairs felt noticeably easier. His wife added something that made me smile. She said he had started taking the stairs in their apartment building again, something he had avoided for nearly 2 years. 10 weeks, same eggs, different preparation, a noticeable improvement in leg strength. Now I'm curious about you. Do you usually eat hard-boiled eggs for breakfast? If you do, type the number 2 in the comments below. It's one of the most common nutrition habits I see among adults over 60, and it's also one of the easiest to improve. Food number 2, the overlooked vegetable that helps rebuild leg muscle. Now let's move on to food number 2, spinach. It may not be the first food that comes to mind when you think about stronger muscles, but the science behind it is surprisingly impressive. In fact, one of the most interesting discoveries in nutritional muscle physiology over the past decade involves a natural plant compound found in spinach called ecdysterone. Research published in Archives of Toxicology found that ecdysterone can promote anabolic activity in human muscle tissue through a pathway that's largely independent of the body's hormonal signaling. Why is that important? Because after the age of 60, levels of hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone naturally decline. That decline is one of the reasons muscle becomes more resistant to the signals that normally stimulate growth and repair. Scientists refer to this as anabolic resistance. What's exciting is that ecdysterone appears to work through a different biological pathway. In other words, it may help stimulate muscle-building processes without relying on the same hormonal signals that become less effective with age. A randomized controlled trial published in the same journal reported that participants receiving ecdysterone, an amount comparable to what's naturally found in about 2 cups of fresh spinach per day, experienced approximately 33% greater improvements in muscle strength over 10 weeks than a control group performing the same exercise program without ecdysterone. Think about that, just 2 cups of spinach each day, and significantly greater gains in muscle strength over the course of 10 weeks. But there's another detail that's just as important. How you eat spinach can influence how much of this compound your body absorbs. Research suggests that ecdysterone bioavailability increases by about 67% when spinach is eaten with a small amount of healthy fat compared with eating spinach by itself. That's because ecdysterone is more effectively absorbed when dietary fat is present. Fortunately, that's easy to do. You can enjoy a fresh spinach salad with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. You can lightly saute spinach in olive oil or pair it with eggs at breakfast. These aren't just tasty combinations, they're practical ways to improve the absorption of the nutrients you're trying to get. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Carol. Carol was 69 years old, a retired nurse from Charlotte, North Carolina. For 6 months, she'd been faithfully doing chair exercises to strengthen her legs. She was consistent. She rarely missed a day. But despite all that effort, she wasn't seeing the progress she'd hoped for. She began wondering if her age had simply caught up with her. When we reviewed her diet together, one thing stood out immediately. She was eating very few leafy green vegetables, sometimes only a small serving every few days. I suggested one simple change. Add about 2 cups of fresh spinach each day, lightly sautéed in olive oil, as part of one of her main meals. Everything else stayed essentially the same. Over the next 12 weeks, her progress became noticeable. At her follow-up visit, Carol smiled and told me something she hadn't been able to do for years. She could stand up from her chair without pushing herself up with her arms. For the first time in 3 years, 12 weeks, 2 cups of spinach each day, a little olive oil, and a meaningful improvement in leg strength. Sometimes the biggest changes don't come from doing more, they come from giving your muscles exactly what they've been missing. Food number 3, the fruit that helps protect your muscles while you sleep. Now let's talk about food number 3, Tart cherries. What makes Tart cherries so fascinating isn't just what they do during the day, it's what they may help your muscles do while you're asleep. After the age of 60, your body naturally spends more time in what's known as a catabolic state. That's the period when muscle tissue is being broken down faster than it's being rebuilt. Research published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that overnight muscle protein breakdown in adults over the age of 65 is approximately 29% higher than in adults in their 40s. That means many older adults wake up each morning having lost more muscle overnight than they were able to rebuild the day before. Unless, of course, they provide their bodies with the nutrients needed to help slow that process. This is where Tart cherries become especially interesting. They contain exceptionally high levels of natural compounds called anthocyanins, particularly cyanidin-3 glucoside and cyanidin-3 rutinoside. These powerful plant compounds have been studied for their effects on muscle recovery and preservation. Research published in the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports found that these anthocyanins helped reduce muscle protein breakdown by suppressing activity within the proteasome pathway. one of the body's primary systems for breaking down damaged muscle proteins. On average, researchers observed about a 22% reduction in overnight muscle breakdown. That's an impressive finding. But there's one detail that's easy to overlook. Timing matters. The same research suggests that Tart cherries are most effective for overnight muscle preservation when they're consumed within about 2 hours of going to bed. Why? Because that's when the anthocyanins are available in your bloodstream during the hours when overnight muscle breakdown is at its highest. For example, a serving of Tart cherry juice in the evening around 10 p.m., if that fits your schedule, may help support your muscles during the overnight period between midnight and early morning. The same serving consumed at lunchtime doesn't appear to provide the same overnight benefit. So here's the simple routine supported by the research. Drink about 8 ounces of Tart cherry juice within 2 hours of bedtime and make it part of your regular evening routine. Research found that this approach was associated with approximately 22% less overnight muscle breakdown, with measurable effects beginning as early as the first week. Think about that. Supporting your muscles, not while you're exercising, but while you're sleeping. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Before watching this video, did you know that your body can lose muscle overnight after the age of 60? If this is new information for you, type the number 3 in the comments below. Food number 4, the mineral most seniors are missing. Now let's move on to food number 4. This one is a little different because it's not a single food, it's a mineral, and that mineral is magnesium. The foods we're about to discuss are some of the best natural sources of magnesium, an essential nutrient that your leg muscles depend on every single day. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that approximately 68% of adults over the age of 60 do not get enough magnesium. That's a surprisingly large number. And yet, magnesium deficiency often goes unnoticed because its symptoms can easily be mistaken for normal aging. But magnesium plays a critical role inside every muscle cell. It's required to produce ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, the molecule that provides the energy for every muscle contraction. Without enough magnesium, your muscles simply can't produce energy as efficiently. As a result, they tire more quickly, they generate less force, they're more likely to cramp, and they often take longer to recover after physical activity. Research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with healthy magnesium levels demonstrated approximately 31% better leg muscle performance than magnesium-deficient adults of the same age, even after accounting for differences in exercise habits and protein intake. That's a remarkable difference from one nutrient alone. So where can you get more magnesium naturally? According to the research, 3 of the best food sources for older adults are pumpkin seeds, which provide about 37% of your daily magnesium needs in just 1 ounce. Dark chocolate containing 70% cacao or higher, which supplies roughly 16% of your daily requirement per ounce. And cooked black beans, providing approximately 30% of your daily magnesium needs in just half a cup. These are simple foods, easy to find, easy to include in your weekly meals. 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds each day, a small square of dark chocolate, and about half a cup of black beans a few times each week. For many older adults, those small additions may help restore healthy magnesium levels over the course of 4 to 6 weeks. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Raymond. Raymond was 78 years old, a retired teacher from Memphis, Tennessee. He came to see me because severe leg cramps were waking him up almost every night. During the day, his legs became tired much sooner than they used to, even during his regular morning walks. He'd been told those symptoms were simply part of getting older, but I wasn't convinced. We completed a detailed nutritional assessment. His magnesium level was extremely low, falling within the lowest 12% of the reference range for adults his age. That gave us a clear place to start. Rather than making drastic changes, I asked Raymond to do something very simple. Begin eating pumpkin seeds regularly. Add black beans to his meals several times each week, and continue following the rest of his healthy routine. 3 weeks later, his nighttime leg cramps had disappeared. 6 weeks later, he told me he had doubled the distance of his morning walks before his legs began feeling tired. At his 3-month follow-up, Raymond smiled and said something he hadn't expected. He hadn't been awakened by leg cramps in more than 8 weeks. 3 weeks, a few simple changes to his diet, and a meaningful improvement in both his sleep and his leg function. Food number 5, the one that's probably already in your kitchen: At the beginning of this video, I told you I was saving the most surprising food for last. And here it is, plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. Not an expensive supplement, not an exotic superfood, just a simple food that many people already have sitting in their refrigerator. I know, you were probably expecting something much more unusual. But the reason Greek yogurt stands out has nothing to do with marketing. It has everything to do with the unique way it supports aging muscles. What makes Greek yogurt so special is that it combines two powerful muscle-supporting mechanisms in a single food. Let's look at the first one. Mechanism 1, slow-release casein protein. Greek yogurt is made up of roughly 80% casein protein. Unlike faster digesting proteins, casein is released slowly over time. Research published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise found that casein can support muscle protein synthesis for up to 7 hours after it's consumed. Compare that with whey protein, which is absorbed much more quickly. Whey delivers a rapid increase in amino acids, but that effect typically fades within a couple of hours. Casein works differently. It provides a steady supply of amino acids for several hours, helping support muscle repair throughout the night while you're asleep. For older adults, that's especially valuable because much of the body's overnight muscle repair happens during those sleeping hours. Mechanism 2, the leucine and calcium combination. The second benefit is even more interesting. Greek yogurt naturally provides both leucine and calcium. Research published in Nutrients found that this combination stimulated muscle protein synthesis about 43% more effectively than leucine by itself. Researchers believe calcium helps activate an additional muscle-building pathway that works alongside the well-known mTOR pathway triggered by leucine. In other words, these nutrients appear to work better together than they do alone. Think about what that means. One affordable food supporting two different biological systems involved in muscle maintenance. A slow release of protein lasting for hours, and a nutrient combination that may further enhance the muscle-building response. Now let's talk about timing. The research suggests that the best time to enjoy Greek yogurt is about 30 minutes before bedtime. Choose plain, full-fat Greek yogurt whenever possible. Skip the flavored varieties that are often high in added sugar, and don't automatically reach for the fat-free version. Research indicates that the natural fat in full-fat Greek yogurt slows stomach emptying, allowing the casein protein to be released even more gradually. In adults over the age of 65, that slow release window may extend from about 7 hours to as long as 9 hours. So here's the simple evening routine. About 30 minutes before bed, enjoy 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. If you've also decided to include the Tart cherry juice we discussed earlier, having them around the same time may provide complementary support. The slow-release casein helps nourish your muscles throughout the night, while the anthocyanins from Tart cherries may help reduce overnight muscle breakdown. Together, they create one of the most effective food-based nighttime routines we've discussed for supporting healthy leg muscles after the age of 60. Now let's bring everything together. After the age of 60, your leg muscles face 3 major biological challenges. The first is anabolic resistance. Research shows that older adults may need about 41% more protein to trigger the same muscle-building response they experienced when they were younger. The second is the decline of satellite cells. These are the specialized repair cells that help rebuild muscle tissue. Studies suggest their activity can decrease by approximately 54% between the ages of 60 and 80. The third is mitochondrial deterioration. As the number of healthy mitochondria declines, your muscles produce less energy, tire more quickly, and recover more slowly. Research has found mitochondrial density can decrease by around 38% between the ages of 50 and 70 in sedentary adults. The good news is that the 5 foods we've discussed are supported by research because they target these biological changes in different ways. Let's review them. Food number 1, eggs. Enjoy 2 to 3 soft poached or lightly scrambled eggs within about 30 minutes of waking. Eggs provide one of the richest natural sources of highly bioavailable leucine, the amino acid that helps activate muscle protein synthesis. Remember, soft-cooked eggs provide significantly greater leucine bioavailability than hard-boiled eggs, approximately 91% compared with about 51%. Food number 2, spinach. Aim for about 2 cups of spinach each day. Lightly saute in olive oil or enjoy it with another healthy source of fat. The naturally occurring ecdysterone found in spinach has been associated with improved muscle strength and may help overcome some of the anabolic resistance that develops with age. In one study, participants experienced approximately 33% greater improvements in muscle strength over 10 weeks. Food number 3, Tart cherry juice. Drink about 8 ounces of Tart cherry juice within 2 hours before bedtime. The anthocyanins in Tart cherries have been associated with approximately 22% less overnight muscle protein breakdown, helping protect your muscles while you sleep. Food number 4, magnesium-rich foods. Support healthy magnesium levels with foods such as pumpkin seeds and black beans. Magnesium deficiency affects a large percentage of adults over 60, and research has linked healthy magnesium levels with approximately 31% better leg muscle performance in older adults. A simple routine could include 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds each day and black beans several times each week. Food number 5, plain full-fat Greek yogurt. About 30 minutes before bed, enjoy 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. Its slow-digesting casein protein helps support muscle protein synthesis for 7 to 9 hours overnight. And the natural combination of leucine and calcium has been associated with approximately 43% greater activation of important muscle-building pathways compared with leucine alone. Now let's put everything into one simple daily routine. In the morning, start your day with soft poached or lightly scrambled eggs served alongside spinach cooked in olive oil. During the day, enjoy 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds as a snack. Include black beans in your meals several times each week. Before bed, have 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt along with 8 ounces of Tart cherry juice. That's the complete protocol. No expensive supplements, no complicated meal plans, no costly superfoods. Just simple, research-supported foods that are available in virtually every grocery store. And best of all, you can begin making these changes as early as today. Before we finish, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Out of the 5 foods we talked about today, which ones are already part of your daily routine and which ones are missing from your diet? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, tell me your age and the city you're watching from. I read as many of your comments as I can, and your experiences help guide the topics I cover in future videos. I also want to ask you something else. Have you ever been told that weak legs are simply a normal part of aging, without anyone explaining that nutrition could play a major role? If that's happened to you, share your experience below. My feeling is that many of you have heard exactly that. But after today's video, I hope you see that your kitchen may already contain some of the foods your muscles have been waiting for. If you found this information helpful, please share this video with someone you care about who's in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or even 90s, because the research we've discussed sends a hopeful message. Loss of leg strength with age isn't always inevitable. Nutrition matters. The right foods, eaten consistently and at the right times, can help support healthier muscles throughout later life. If someone you love is struggling to climb stairs, stand up from a chair, or walk the distance they once could, they deserve to know there's still reason for hope. Our muscles remain responsive throughout life, even in our later years. Sometimes they simply need the right nutrients to do the job they're designed to do. If you enjoy evidence-based nutrition and healthy aging information, be sure to subscribe to After 50 Health. Every week, I share practical strategies based on current scientific research explained in a way that's easy to understand and apply in everyday life. Take good care of your legs. They support your balance, your mobility, your confidence, and your independence. The choices you make today can help keep you active for years to come. In my next video, we'll explore another important topic. I'll show you a vitamin deficiency that research has linked to memory and cognitive decline in many older adults, and why it can sometimes be overlooked during routine care. You won't want to miss it. I'm Dr. William Lee. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And one final reminder, before making any significant changes to your diet or health routine, speak with your healthcare provider first, especially if you have kidney disease, digestive disorders, or any chronic medical condition that could be affected by dietary changes. This video is provided for educational purposes only and should never replace personalized medical advice from a qualified healthcare professional.